My name is Adrian Sannier, and I'm the University Technology Officer here at Arizona State University.
I'm interested in hearing about core versus context and how that is being applied at ASU in your objective for the new American University.
Okay. We know that we have to make technology go faster inside the academy, and this means that we have to make better use of the commercial sector. We have to make better use of the things that are happening in the marketplace that can help the university to adopt technology faster and get on a quicker curve. And that means that we have to stop doing certain things for ourselves. And so the way that many industries have started to look at that trade-off is to think about what's core to the mission and what's context to the mission. Core are those activities that distinguish your institution from the other institutions that you compete with. Now, we don't often think of universities as being competitive, but clearly, at the end of the day, we provide services to students, and students choose to come here. We provide services to research agencies and other people interested in the discovery of knowledge, and they have choices about where they choose to go. The things that distinguish us there, our academic environment, what our campus experience is like, our ability to rapidly put together interdisciplinary teams to do discovery. Those things are core to us. They are what, as we get better, we distinguish ourselves from our competition. On that core in the technology space is then founded on other activities that are absolutely crucial. If you can't make a phone call in a university, then you can't do any of the things that I described. If you can't send an email, you can't do those things. If you can't make an effective website. But that technology platform that the core activities are delivered on is really context for the core. Necessary, but doesn't really distinguish the institution. And so institutions can only focus on so many things. So the goal is to try to move some of the institution's attention in terms of its management attention and in terms of its resources toward the application of technology to the core and to work with strategic technology allies to provide the context.
That's fantastic. And then applying the core versus context theory, strategy, if you may, how did Arizona State University select Oracle's PeopleSoft enterprise applications to help achieve those objectives?
The selection of Oracle PeopleSoft for us was an implementation of this core versus context approach. We knew that our existing systems that we had built ourselves were at the end of their life, that the demands of the institution in terms of change, really, we just couldn't meet them with the expertise that we had in-house. And so the opportunity to use an industry standard solution that had been proven in the marketplace, this is the way that we saw to be able to get out of our legacy system. Now, when you're making that choice, obviously there's a lot of different people who want to win that business. And for us, we know that over the lifetime of this solution, any given slice of feature function benefit will change. You could build matrix after matrix to compare this product with that product. At the end of the day, what cemented the choice for us was not those kinds of comparisons. It was trying to determine where people had been successful in an overall implementation to change from a legacy system to a system based on industry standard. Because we felt that if there were some proof points in the marketplace that showed that, okay, this can be accomplished, then as long as we followed those best practices, we could put ourselves on that new platform. Once on the new platform, then we know that we can use that to make our experience better, to improve our academic platform, to do the things that we do that are core.
Specifically, which products within Oracle's PeopleSoft application suite were selected?
All right, to address our student information system needs, we chose PeopleSoft Campus Solutions. And then at the same time, to update our ability to hire, to manage our workforce, we also chose the Human Capital Management Suite. The question of once you decide that you're going to use a commercial off-the-shelf software product, the next question you have is, and how will you be running this? Are we going to run that on equipment that we own and that we manage, or are we going to run that on equipment that a partner owns that an ally manages. The decision for us at first seemed very controversial, because the very idea of taking this vital information and moving it outside of our control, it seemed like, to many people here on campus, that seemed like an unthinkable thing to do. But several factors made it an inescapable thing to do. The first was time to implementation. ASU believes that the key to successful implementation of enterprise systems is to be able to implement them quickly and efficiently. We know that the most difficult implementations, the most costly implementations, are those that take long time. So that idea of time to market, being able to shrink the amount of time that it takes, that's a primary concern. Well, let's apply that question now to should we host this system on our own system, or should we host this system outside? If you can identify someone with more expertise than you, that eliminates your training time. If you can identify someone who already has the resources, the hardware resources necessary to deploy, that reduces your implementation time. So this time to market issue pointed very strongly to finding someone outside with expertise, with a core expertise in a strategic focus that would alleviate the responsibility for us having to develop that expertise and then over time respond to it. So from an implementation point of view, no question that you had to host. Now, obviously you've got to run a cost-benefit analysis. We ran that analysis, and through negotiation we're able to find a solution that we felt was extremely competitive when all costs were considered to us managing that inside, but that it greatly lowered our risk on the implementation side.
So in selecting an outsourcing partner, how did you decide upon Cedar Crestone?
Well, when we thought about our hosting strategy, we were considering the totality of the task in front of us. We didn't really separate what happens at the end of the project from what happens during implementation. And so two factors made Cedar Crestone stand out for us. One, they were our strong implementation partner, and some of our key reference accounts, they had been the strong implementation partner there. So that track record of being able to deliver a solution on time made them the logical implementation partner. Well, now, as I said, the hosting decision was very tightly connected with this idea that we wanted to be able to come up very quickly. And so wanting to get an efficient handshake between the people who are doing the implementation with the people who are creating the development environment, and then transitioning the development environment into the ongoing operational environment just made a lot of sense for us to consider Cedar Crestone. Now, considering is one thing, winning is another. We were able to strike an arrangement that gave us comfort on the level of service that we would be able to achieve, that made us confident that we would be able to achieve our business model and still be able to go forward. And we were very confident that Cedar Crestone was invested in our success.
How has the internal technology team at ASU accepted this? Are there skeptics?
In your question is a word we never use. Your question, how does your internal staff respond to the idea of outsourcing? Well, I can tell you they respond in a very negative way to that idea. And so if we believed that this was outsourcing, if that's how we considered it, then it wouldn't be interesting to us. Because outsourcing to me is, oh, here's your existing set of people who are managing your existing infrastructure. We can make that cheaper because we will use fewer people, or we'll use people that we pay less. There's no compelling argument there for us. The compelling argument for us is the idea of an ally. Well, is this just semantics? No. We need someone whose strategic business is doing a thing which we currently do. If your strategic focus is on doing that for a wide variety of clients, then I get an economy of scale that I can't achieve alone. That's totally different than traditional data center outsourcing, where we simply take my application stack and run it in a different place. This is an opportunity to achieve a completely different economy of scale. Now, internally, there's an education process that has to happen there. And obviously, anytime you talk about moving major functions, people are concerned about, well, but what happens to my job? Arizona State University is committed to growth. So our problem is not that we have too many people with not enough work. Our problem is that the challenges we know we need to address, we're not able to address them all because we've got too many things to do. And so it's the glory of a growth enterprise that these folks can raise their productivity by, instead of managing a machine, work with a company to manage a relationship. And as a result, grow, right? You know, like the other things that I talked about, the role that technology has to play in this enterprise, that doesn't come from nowhere. That has to come from somewhere. That core expansion has to come from these people, these technological skills. So in general, what we found is an initial resistance followed by an excitement as they start to see, oh, I don't have to work on this part that maybe isn't even all that interesting. I have the ability to think about how this impacts the operation of the institution. It makes it a lot easier to talk about the success stories.